We usually spend our time talking about how to build things up, how to succeed, how to improve. But today, we're going to flip that completely on its head. Our source material poses this really fascinating, kind of strange question. If you really wanted to, how could you guarantee that you raise an adult with zero self-confidence? It's a wild thought experiment, so let's just dive right in.
So, there it is. That's the big question for today. It's a little unsettling, right? But by working backward, by figuring out how to guarantee a total lack of confidence, we can actually uncover some pretty powerful truths about how to build it the right way. So yeah, let's play along.
Okay, first things first, we need a target. With any project, you've got to start with the end in mind. And in this case, our end goal isn't what you'd typically call success, not even close.
And there it is. This is the masterpiece we're aiming to create. We're not just talking about some vague low confidence. No, we're talking about a tangible, specific result. An adult who is so paralyzed, so dependent on someone else's approval, that they can't even pick a brand of cereal without calling home for backup. That's our bullseye.
So, the big question is, how do you get there? Well, the source material is crystal clear on this one. The foundation for this whole thing? It's laid down early, during childhood. Let's get into the step-by-step instructions.
The recipe is actually pretty simple. It's just got two main ingredients. First, you make sure the child has zero responsibility. And I mean zero. No chores, no small tasks. Don't let them manage a single thing on their own. And second, and this one is absolutely critical, you have to shield them from any and all failure. The second you see them struggle, you jump in. You correct them before they can even get it wrong.
And this quote, this really gets to the core of it, right? It's this whole mindset that's built on fear. The idea that any little error, any small misstep is some kind of catastrophe that has to be avoided no matter what. But you have to wonder, by protecting a kid from the danger of spilling the milk, are we setting them up for a much, much bigger failure down the road?
All right, let's fast forward 20 years or so. Let's say the recipe was followed to the letter. That child is now an adult. So what's the result? What did all that careful work actually produce?
Well, what you see is what you get. It's a straight line from A to B, no surprises here. Think about it. If you never ever practice throwing a ball, are you going to be a good pitcher? Of course not. It's the exact same principle. If a kid gets zero practice making choices or owning a task, they just won't have that skill set when they're an adult. The wiring just isn't there.
And this right here is the central idea. Responsibility isn't something that just magically appears when you turn 18. It's a skill. It's a muscle. And if that muscle has never worked, it just doesn't grow. What you end up with is an adult who feels completely incapable of running their own life because, honestly, they are. They've never had the training.
Okay, so we followed this weird, satirical guide all the way to the end. Now let's drop the satire. Let's flip this whole thing around. What does this reverse-engineered lesson teach us about the right way to build real, solid confidence? Because this is what it's really all about, isn't it? The true goal isn't to create someone who's dependent. It's to raise a child who becomes an adult who trusts their own gut, who can handle whatever life throws at them, and who feels genuinely capable of navigating the world on their own. So what's the real recipe for that? Well, it's the exact opposite of what we just talked about. First, you give them things to be responsible for, small things, stuff that's right for their age. And second, and this one can be really tough, you have to completely reframe how you think about mistakes. They're not disasters to be avoided. They are pure, invaluable data for learning how to do it better next time.
At the end of the day, this is the fundamental takeaway. Confidence isn't a gift you can just hand to somebody. It's something they have to build for themselves, piece by piece, one small responsible act at a time. Every chore they complete, every mistake they learn from, it's just another brick in the foundation of their own self-trust.
And that really leaves us with a final question to chew on. And this applies to all of us, whether we're parents or teachers or mentors. In our effort to help and protect the people we care about, are we accidentally taking away their chance to build their own strength? Are we giving them the space they desperately need to try, to fail, and ultimately to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet? Something to think about.